What up? It's your boy T-Bear here in the reaction. Today is Films Friday on Black Friday leftovers, and like I said, it's gonna be short. So all we got left is a side dish and a main course, and which main course is gonna be none other than James A. Janice Dead Meat Kill Count, and we're gonna finish off the Dead Meats series of Hellraiser with Hellraiser's Bloodline. As he mentioned, this is only doing the 4, and which is the only 4 that went to the theaters. So this came out in 1996. I don't know too much about, like, this is the only one I didn't watch. Now, I only watched 1 and 3 before. I watched 1 before. I think I watched 2 before as well. 2 and 3 like definitely 1 I watched. So yeah, I remember. That's as far as watching on my own. And I was waiting to do this one, a kill count of this one. We got to a count of this on what was it, Carnage Counts channel, but by the time I got to this, Carnage Counts channel got shut down. So this is definitely a good makeup and perfect too, because James A. Denise, he's the GOAT of kill counts and breaks you down about the movies. So without further ado, here is Hellraiser's Bloodline, 1990. It came out in 1996. It was the 4th of the Hellraiser franchise. Let's get it. Just went like off a little bit because he had like a little beginning thing.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Hellraiser Bloodline, released in 1996. Bloodline is at least partially a science fiction horror film, and it's often referred to as the one where Pinhead goes to space. That's an oversimplification, I think. This movie's as ambitious as it is a freaking mess. Not only does part of it take place in the future, another storyline takes place in the 18th century, and a third in the then-present 1996. This triple timeline idea was suggested by Clive Barker himself, who served as executive producer even though he was mostly busy with Lords of Illusion. In any case, this is the last completed Hellraiser film with Barker's involvement in any way. Bloodline started with a strong script from returning writer Peter Atkins, but ran into problems quickly and frequently due to studio interference and rounds of budget cuts. The resulting mess of production led to an Alan Smithy credit, the pseudonym used by directors who don't want their real names attached to a movie. Personally, I enjoyed Bloodline. The period setting is interesting, and the sci-fi special effects are surprisingly okay. This thing came out a year before Leprechaun 4, and its effects look 1,000 times better than that movie's low-res abomination. Plus, Pinhead's histrionics are scaled back, and we're given another kick-ass lady villain in the demon Angelique. It may not be a great film, but I had a good time with it. I'd put it on par with Hell on Earth. Whether a Hellraiser is good or bad, you don't want Cenobites showing up at your door. Luckily, you can keep yourself safe from them and other threats using today's sponsor, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is a whole home security system that allows you to design a system best fit for whatever house you're in. And right now, SimpliSafe is giving you early access to their Black Friday sale with at least 50% off your SimpliSafe security system. Dead Meat's executive assistant Ben set it up at his place, so now he can use the doorbell camera to hide if I ever try to bother him after work hours.
Ben? I need kills counted! Ben!
SimpliSafe's also got new wireless outdoor security cameras that'll give you an ultra-wide 140-degree view of your property. All of their devices, including water sensors, window alarms, and smoke detectors, link up with the home base, and it's easy as hell to set up on your own. After that, your home is professionally monitored around the clock. If anything happens, the SimpliSafe team will call authorities immediately. Right now, SimpliSafe is having their best deals of the year, so there's no better time to secure your home and family. Just go to simplysafe.com/deadmeat to learn more and save 50% or more on your SimpliSafe security system. That's simplysafe.com/deadmeat for the biggest sale of the year on this award-winning security system. In space, no one can hear you scream, from pain or from pleasure. Let's see if we can count those screams anyway and get to the kills. The movie begins with a pretty good-looking space station called the Minos in the year 2127. Dr. Paul Merchant is aboard, fisting some chainmail gloves to control a Terminator, when another spaceship arrives at the station. Come on, guys, don't dock while Paul's engaging in virtual box play. Damn, do those robot hands and digital puzzle box look bad. As the new arrivals quickly slip into aliens mode, Paul Merchant finishes getting boxy by proxy. Solving the puzzle has quite the effect on his robot friend.
Lower.
It also brings flashes of Pinhead. Merchant's talking to Pinhead through a screen when he's apprehended by a space police force or something. One of them, a woman with the unfortunate name of Rimmer, sits down to interrogate Paul Merchant. He tells her that he built this space station as a trap.
What did you expect to catch?
Hell is what I'm going to catch, and I'm gonna burn it away in a blaze of light.
You're gonna burn hell with light? Okay, dude. He launches into a story about his ancestor, Philippe Le Marchand, the man who designed and built the original Lament configuration. I guess that sort of makes him the in-universe Simon Says. Simon Says, show us more close-ups of woodworking. Good job, movie. You're not out. Philippe Le Marchand was played by Bruce Ramsey, the same 27-year-old Canadian playing his descendant Paul Merchant. Ramsey did a decent job differentiating his various roles, but as is often the case with Hellraiser sequels, his acting isn't great.
He's dead. And if you don't let me out to finish my work, you're all dead.
Philippe has built this puzzle box, which does all the usual tricks, for a wealthy man who's into the occult and black magic named Duc de Lille. He's based on the Marquis de Sade, so you know he's a nasty man. This nasty man has an assistant named Jacques, played by a 21-year-old Adam Scott in basically his first movie role. Gotta admit, him being Adam Scott makes some of these shots funny, even though they're not meant to be. But it's Adam Scott, so it's kind of funny. Also funny is that Adam Scott gets the first kill of this movie when he strangles a peasant girl to death for the benefit of his rich daddy. Philippe arrives and delivers the box, but wants to see what it'll be used for. Well, dude, let's see. Looks like they've got a lady and they're skinning her butt. All right, that box about to be covered in butt skin? DeLille and Jacques go through a whole gruesome production with the body that's shown just enough to give you the gory picture. Pretty gross
nasty
stuff, but they could at least own up to it. Quit hiding behind your sugar daddy, Adam Scott. Come on out. DeLille says a bunch of stuff in Latin. It starts up a light show and Adam Scott gets scared. Aw, he's just putting a demon in this peasant girl's body. That's nothing to be afraid of, Adam Scott. By summoning this demon, DeLille will have control over it as long as he doesn't do anything to stand in Hell's way. Also, he apparently gets naming rights.
You are Angelique.
This wet birthing scene was added during reshoots. Originally, Angelique was the one who commissioned the puzzle box, and she used it to unleash hell on a room full of gamblers. The only footage I could find of that original scene was from a very low-quality work print. Philippe tells a science friend about the demon he saw, and the friend says this allegation sounds daft in modern times.
This is the 18th century, Philippe. Not the Dark Ages. The world is ruled by reason.
But if Philippe really does think he's somehow opened hell, then he'd best get to work designing a way to close it back up. When he figures it out, Philippe breaks into DeLille's place to steal back the box. He'll just have to sneak past the demon having sex with Adam Scott. As he goes to grab the box, a bloody Duc de Lille lurches back to life, only to die just as suddenly of injuries sustained earlier off screen. De Lille was killed by Angelique after he evidently stood in Hell's way. Her boy toy then beats down Philippe Le Marchand and says his lineage will be haunted because he opened a door to hell.
Think of that. You and your bloodline cursed to the end of time because of your little puzzle box.
Adam Scott telling us why this movie's called Bloodline. Angelique takes a blade and shanks Philippe with it, and the bleeding toy maker is found later by his wife, who promises she'll save herself and their child. She leaves her husband with a kiss, and Philippe Le Marchand joins the kill count with a fade out. That's the end of ye olden times, so we're back in space for a mo. Paul Merchant says his family carried the puzzle box design in their blood. Though most of them didn't know it, they had Lament configurating genes. That brings us to a less distant ancestor of Paul's, John Merchant, a successful architect who lives in 1996. Just as with Philippe and Paul, John is played by Bruce Ramsey. John's got a son with his wife Bobby, played by Kim Myers, last seen on the kill count as the female lead in Nightmare 2. That means she had already worked with Bloodline's original director, Kevin Yeager, who did Freddy's design in that film as one of its makeup artists. Several directors were considered for Bloodline, including Guillermo del Toro and Stuart Gordon. The job ultimately went to Kevin Yeager, best known for his special effects work. He designed Chucky for the original Child's Play and the Crypt Keeper for Tales from the Crypt. Bloodline would be Yeager's first and only film as a director. It was not an easy time during production. There was a fire that caused a flood when the sprinklers went off, a strike that shut down production for a day, and the movie's kid actor came down with chickenpox. Doug Bradley called Bloodline the most miserable professional experience of his career. John's having nightmares of Angelique, whom he's never met, and who's currently still living in Paris, here in the .com decade. She sees a magazine cover and recognizes the Merchant genes, so she tells the somehow also immortal Adam Scott that she wants to go find the toy maker's descendant. Adam Scott says no. He wants to stay here and party down, and since his refusal is getting in the way of hell, that gives Angelique the freedom to attack him. She slashes him a bunch and even nibbles a bit of his face off before killing him by punching into his chest and taking out what I think is his heart. And that's a wrap on Adam Scott, everybody! Like I said, John Merchant's an architect, and one of the buildings he designed is that Lament configuration lounge that we peeped at the end of Hellraiser 3. These third and fourth Hellraisers have a little more continuity than I expected. At an awards ceremony, John sees Angelique and recognizes her from his dreams. He leaves before she can talk to him, so she turns her demonic sights on a random guy named Mr. Sharp instead. Dude looks like he'd be a corrupt lawyer in The Wire. She takes Sharp into the basement of John's building, where she instinctively knows where to punch a pillar to find a box. Damn, that was like finding a star in a hidden block in Mario Party. She tells the guy to solve it for her.
I have such sights to show you.
And since this thing can be solved by ages 6 months and up, he finishes it in a jiffy, unknowingly opening hell upon his ass. Chains come out, they get him here, after he sees a demonic beast lurking in the light, he's pulled towards it to be killed off screen. Pinhead emerges and finds the puzzle box, as well as Angelique, whom he knows by name. He acknowledges her as a former leader of Hell who's been out of work for a while.
Hell is more ordered since your time, princess. And much less amusing.
That recognition doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Pinhead was created from Elliot Spencer in the 1920s, at which point Angelique would have been fucking around in France with Adam Scott. The demon in her body's been away since 1700 whatever. How's this Brit from the 20th century know her by name?
Angelique.
This lack of logic came about because of the movie's troubled production. After an early screening of Kevin Yeager's original 1 hour 50-minute cut, Bob Weinstein, head of the movie's studio Dimension Films, said he didn't like the movie and wanted Pinhead to show up earlier. The original script by Peter Atkins was in chronological order, and Pinhead didn't appear until this scene more than a half an hour in. 3 rounds of reshoots were ordered, and the future set plot was turned into a wraparound device. The continual requests for rewrites got so bad that Peter Atkins called it quits.
So I resigned heroically by fax.
Director Kevin Yeager also decided he had already spent too much time and energy on this thing, so he left too, and Joe Chappelle was brought in to direct the reshoots. Some of the new material was written by Rand Ravitch, who had just co-written another Clive Barker film sequel, Candyman 2. New director Joe Chappelle had just finished another job with Dimension, directing the equally troubled production of Halloween 6. Kevin Yeager says the final cut of Bloodline was less than half of what he shot, which allowed him to remove his name from the project, thus the Alan Smithy credit. As far as I know, Yeager's cut has never seen the light of day, though there are reconstructions of it on YouTube using work print footage and, whatever the fuck this is.
Princess, toy maker. Thank you, Genevieve.
Pinhead and Angelique both want John to make a super ultra mega box that'll be a giant portal to hell.
This is a Holocaust waiting to wake itself.
Calm down, Pete. Angelique says she can get John to do it using sextitude, but Pinhead wants to rely on his old standby of terror instead. This conflict between them was originally much more angry and violent, but reshoots changed them to be more flirtatious, or at least flirtatious for demons.
I can smell the exquisite stench of what you really are.
Angelique goes to John's office, where she sees a design on his wall from his toymaker ancestor. Even though this mystery woman is a stranger, John shows her what he's been working on. It's a box based on his ancestor's design that'll somehow make infinity light?
Perpetual light. Trapped light. Feeding off its own reflections.
That's not how that works, John. That's not science, dude. Sorry. Angelique tells John that she's not a stranger. He knows who she is. Just listen to your memory blood. That night, his memory blood rushes all the way down south as he has a porny-ass dream about that demon. I love the spinning bed. Now we're with 2 twin security guards, I think in John Merchant's building. I'm not sure, since the scene begins with no establishing shot. They seem confused by their location, too.
What's this? It's a door. I know it's a door, but it isn't on the chart.
The brothers head through the mystery door and things get spooky in a hurry. They find a bunch of blood, which is bad, and then viscera, which is even worse. Good thing these two have each other.
From now on, we stick together. Always together.
I like the twin security guards, and turns out actors Dave and Jim Schulte have a YouTube channel. It's focused on home repairs, so they're kind of like shorter, less hot property brothers. Together, the twins kick down a door and point their guns at Pinhead and Angelique. As you may have expected, this does not go well for them.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you.
Pinhead's chains come out of the ceiling
here we go again.
and wrap around the brothers. The lead Cenobite displays his dominance to Angelique when he kills the brothers by clamping their heads together with two halves of a broken skull mask. Then he sticks a couple of drills through their temples and a piston thing twists their heads together. The end result looks like blood-flavored Laffy Taffy. It's Pinhead's turn to go after John Merchant, and he decides he'll torture him through his son. Jack Merchant is played by kid actor Cortland Meade, who would go on to be Danny Torrance in the Shining miniseries. He also voiced Gus in Recess. John's wife Bobby leaves Jack alone for
he played Aha in The Little Rascal.
just a minute and returns to find the little rascal missing. Aw, and Pinhead ruined his connects? Come on, man, that Ferris wheel is not easy to build. Bobby finds her kid with Pinhead, and the situation is a little weird.
Oh, what appetites I could teach him.
Strike that, the situation is very weird. Pinhead, please don't play with the kid's hair. John gets home to find his family missing and a bloody knife through his magazine cover. Probably not a good sign there, dude. He heads to his office building and finds it taken over by chains and stock sound effects. Yo, that's the imp noise from fucking Doom!
Oh, okay.
I love shotgunning those bastards. John finds his family next to a torture pillar being guarded by a chattering hellhound. And if that wasn't bad enough, Pinhead's promising to torture Jack like a motherfucker.
Although the boy will not die here, for 1,000 years his dearest wish will be that he had.
Pinhead tells John that his ancestor designed this puzzle box and that John's fate is to make an even bigger version.
You will help to fulfill its promise.
John tries juking away from Pinhead, as though you could defeat a demon by running away. He and his family split up, which gets his wife chased around by Pinhead's chattering dog thing. I think it looks pretty good. The Chatterer Beast was designed by Kevin Yeager and built by his effects shop. I was surprised to learn this good boy isn't a boy at all. It's a man! A guy named Jody St. Michael played the Beast by running around inside a suit. The chattering, slobbering Hound of Hell corners Bobby in a room, but she's able to put an end to him with the Lament configuration. I feel like those boxes have unlimited ammo. John finds his son in the hands of another demon who, much like Pinhead, wants to make things weird.
So young, so tender, so right.
These demons need to knock it off. Stop! To get the demons to stop, John agrees to type them up a gateway to hell. But it ends up being an elaborate trick using the latest and greatest visual effects. Instead of opening a door to hell, John tries to defeat the demons with his perpetual light show. But it fails because that's not how science works. And Pinhead kills John Merchant with a chain that goes through his neck. The hook on the end expands, so when it's pulled back out, John is decapitated. Hell of a kill, and somewhat unexpected, since John was probably the mainest character. Bobby runs in to save her son using the power of box. I'm honestly not entirely sure what happens here. Angelique gets chained up and dragged towards the box, but before we see exactly what happens to her, the box blows up, and Pinhead just stands around screaming. Everything kind of gets sucked into the box, and now we're back to the future. Great Scott! These last 20 minutes of Bloodline are back in space, with the latest Merchant Man saying that he's trying to clean up his ancestors' mess. He says he summoned the demons here and trapped them with that robot. They appeared in the room when it solved the box, and that's currently where they're locked up. I think it's silly we get a recap of something we saw an hour ago, but I do get a kick out of that Terminator exploding. As a testament to this movie's messiness, Angelique's Cenobite appears without any kind of introduction. We first see her in the background behind Pinhead. It's bullshit. Anyway, the space guards arrived after John had summoned the demons, but before he could destroy them for good. The guards don't believe his story about space demons, and I don't believe I know who the fuck they are. Seriously, what space force do these people even work for? It doesn't matter. They all gonna die. First up is a dude named Parker, who's tricked into freeing the Cenobites when they employ a leprechaun-like trick of the voice.
Gotta be the black guy.
Parker shoots the door open, walks inside, and is greeted by the Hell Priest himself. Pinhead sticks his chains on the poor guy, and they do their job, ripping Parker's skin off and killing him with a blow through the head. Now Pinhead's free with his brand new gash. Angelique's Cenobite and the twin Cenobites, now played by twin brothers Michael and Mark Polish. Although Kevin Yeager was an experienced special effects artist, he brought back Image Animation to have continuity with the Cenobites. Specifically, he brought back Gary J. Tunnicliffe, who had become head of the company's US branch. Tunnicliffe based the twin Cenobites design design on the Greek masks for tragedy and comedy. He based Angelique's fucking fantastic design on Sister Act, inspired by the way their habits looked. Chilean actor Valentina Vargas wears it well, though she suffered reactions to the glue and prosthetics required. Finally, for Pinhead, Tunnicliffe went back to the OG makeup and based it on Jeff Portis's original design. In Hellraiser 3, Pinhead was changed by new makeup coordinator Paul Jones, who made his pins visibly longer and created a two-piece appliance for Doug Bradley to wear. It was faster to get in and out of, but more uncomfortable for the actor. Maybe the return of long makeup hours is why this Pinhead is much more chill again. Though she didn't get a proper intro, Angelique's Cenobite gets the next kill. It's this dude named Carducci, played by Pat Skipper, who was Laurie's dad in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Angelique tricks Carducci with her human form in a mirror, then pulls him partially through it and laughs as he's decapitated between the two planes. Chamberlain is the next meatbag to run into a Cenobite. He's played by Tom Dugan, who is part of a funny pair of characters in The Best Leprechaun Part 3. Chamberlain learns that guns don't work on demons, then runs away and hides. It appears to fool Pinhead, but he's killed off screen by the Chatterhound he finds at his side. The last random space manhunter is Edwards, who appears to be in charge of the group. He earns the distinction of being the only person on Earth or in space who has a hard time solving the puzzle box.
It's a box. It's just a box.
Angelique takes it from him and leaves Edwards to the twin Cenobites, who split apart from each other in a horrific visual effect. Now separated, they get on either side of Edwards and kill him by becoming a throuple with him. A bloody, nasty, splashy throuple. Since everyone's dying, Rimmer frees Paul Merchant so he can try to stop the Cenobites. He beep boops on some buttons and suddenly Pinhead is standing there, saying he's going to end the Merchant bloodline once and for all. But then Paul distracts Pinhead with that dope-ass view of Earth and steps to Rimmer looking like he's about to throw down in a rap battle.
Double back down this hallway and get to the shuttle.
When did he get so hard? No wonder Rimmer seems dazed and confused. They split up and it's Rimmer's turn to run from the demon doll. She gets away from it and locks it inside some kind of chamber, then finishes it off with an alien action and a line on loan from Pet Cemetery.
Play dead.
That doggy does more than play dead. Thing blows up with chunks flying all over the place. Merchant is back with Pinhead again and tells the Hell Priest he's gonna kill him. Pinhead doesn't buy it.
I cannot die. I am forever.
Merchant's bored of that bullshit and pieces out like a tricksy Luke Skywalker. Turns out he was just a hologram there, and dude's actually chilling in a spaceship with Rimmer, and he hardly even knows her. Merchant activates his space station, which is revealed to be a weapon. It's the perpetual light device that his ancestor John tried to figure out, but John couldn't because it's an impossible thing. But I guess Paul's here to prove both physics and Pinhead wrong.
I cannot die!
Despite that claim, I'm putting Pinhead's leather skirt-wearing ass on the kill count again. Seems like enough of a kill, with his face getting torn apart as he's surrounded by perpetual light. Then the space station blows up entirely, and I don't see any little Pinhead parts left behind. Oh, wait, what the fuck happened to Angelique and the twin Cenobites? They kinda disappeared in the end there, but we last saw them on the space station that just blew up, so I guess I have to count them as dead too. Alright. The movie ends with the spaceship heading back to Earth. That's it. That's the end. How many lines of blood will I draw on this movie's tally marks of kills? Let's find out and get to the numbers!
Somebody didn't go. God, goodness.
I counted 16 kills in Hellraiser Bloodline, with all of them male except for the 2 times Valentina Vargas died. Wait, also, Angelique was a demon who got Cenobited? Does that even make sense? With a runtime of 85 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 5.31 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to John Merchant. Yeah, I know, I'm biased towards decapitations, but this one was done in a gruesome, painful way. Plus, he was a main character. That adds to the impact. All Machete for lamest kill will be Chamberlain, killed by a Hell Pup off screen. And that's it. Hellraiser Bloodline came out in theaters in '96. The next Hellraiser would be the direct-to-video Inferno in 2000, but I'll consider looking at that and the 5 Hellraisers that followed at some point later. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like Alex Saxton, Caleb Schenberger, Joran Grant, PCB, and William Rush. To be honest,
alright, no trailer. Okay, so yeah, good one. Some good kills on this one for sure though. So yeah, definitely was into it though, for real. If I said to come here too much, I'm sorry, I apologize. I went overkill, cause you know, I did it because folks like me saying that though. Cause somebody, I can tell you, somebody said that I should be hired by Another Reels Studios to do Scorpion. But this was good. Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.